Surandai says, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. It is a lovely Thursday, and of course, we hope that you're doing fine out there, trying as much as possible to make the fulfillment of the day ends meet. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Social and Health Hour. The conversation begins right now. Remember, we are speaking about healthy political spaces right here in the Republic. So many questions have been asked, and of course, so many people have been commenting about this for quite a long time. How will we be able to have safe or healthy political spaces and healthy engagements right here in the Republic? Even as we near the general elections 2027, so many of the political leaders are coming up front to declare their positions into these spaces. But how? The question is, how will we be able to get healthy political engagement even as we near the electioneering period coming 2027? The general elections is underway, and remember earlier back in the years we still had rampages, of course, with many activities coming in. Of course, we had the demos as well coming in and disrupted so many things that are supposed to take center stage across the Republic. But this comes at a point where the conversation will make sense if only we discuss about them as early as now. This morning, of course, we'll be joined in by two leaders that are aspiring, of course, to get their spaces as well. How will they be able to also get the spaces healthy in their own ways? Remember, we still speak about corruption. We still speak about leaders not following the goodwill of the people. We still speak about people or the mwenyeji complaining. And this, of course, is just for the betterment of what we desire and what we need. The mwenyeji wants a better tomorrow, a better engagement from their leaders. And of course, how will the mwenyeji collaborate with the leaders to make sure that we have a better tomorrow? The elections are underway. And of course, every other leader is promising what they can and what they will do for the people. But this all engagement comes at a point where there needs to be a sync between the mwenyeji and the leaders. How will we shape a better tomorrow, and what does the future hold for the mwenyeji, and what does the future hold for the Republic as a whole? Leaders coming in at the point in time, and of course also the mwenyeji wanting to vote. How will we elect leaders that will make a difference right here in the Republic? The conversation is to the betterment of authenticity and to the betterment of actualization and governance right here in the Republic, to make sure that we have a better tomorrow even as we speak. Join in the conversation across our social media platforms on YouTube, Lookup Television, and as well as Facebook, Lookup TV, www.lookuptv.co.ke. Our WhatsApp number is working, 0745 762 640. Ethnic mobilization and kingpins also has been the talk of the town a couple of years ago, and commercialization of politics, that is bribes as well. Weak institutional oversight, economic inequality and poverty. All those are weakening the structures right here in Kenya. But the question is, how will we be able to shape a healthy environment and healthy political engagement? We need good governance, we need good oversight, and above all, we need good structures that are put in place to make sure that we move on in the best way possible. Next few minutes will be, you guys will be helping us understand this kind of topic. But before that, we'll be wanting so much to hear from your side as you do the introduction.
Good morning, Moses, and good morning, viewers. I'm grateful to join you guys today as we discuss this very, very important topic on the healthy part of politics, which is rarely mostly discussed. My name is Mugwe Kevin. I currently serve as the Secretary General for the East Africa Youth Parliament and aspirant MP Dagoretti South CAM 2027. Now, this is a very important topic in regards to politics, because if we don't have this discussion right now and we are coming into a general election 2027, we'll be looking at matters that we will not be able to handle at that particular time. And Kenya, and especially the political class and the elite, we have that tendency of running to things at the last minute. Now, having this discussion at this particular juncture, because we are seeing, first of all, rallies left, right, and center. And from the rallies that we're seeing, we're able to tell how our politics is. And for anyone who cares about this country, you're able to ask yourself, is this the type of politics that we want, or is this the type of politics that we actually need to change and behave like a evolving society, a society that actually needs to seek change, transformation, rather than psychophancy, because we are turning more into psychophancy. Even the belief that we had as young people that there is change, that from the demonstrations we had with the Gen Z Mandamandos, there was a twist on our thinking. We are seeing that dropped to psychophancy, whether you support a trade opposition or government. And it scares a lot. It scares the politics issue, but it also calls us to stand up and call it out when it actually happens, and say that we need to call our politics into order. We need to have debates that make sense. We need to discuss issues that affect the people and affect our country. We need to stop the politics of handouts and the politics of psychophancy and leaning towards where you feel it's convenient at that particular time.
Yeah. It's not the first time that people are stating that we need to call out these things, we need to call out these moves. Youths have been in those spaces, and of course they've also taken the center stage in calling out wrongdoings that happen in governance. Do you think it's now a time that we put a close to calling out improper activities that are happening? And of course we've been listening to this statement for quite a long time, and as the Munyeji complains, so as the improper doings keeps on going.
I think it's because we have shown to our current leaders that it's okay for you to do it. The moment we give our freedom,
okay to do
yes,
corruption?
It's okay for you to do corruption. It's okay for you to take advantage of us. It's okay for you to come and lie to us, because we're not standing by the words that we mean. We will vote for the wrong person because they're in the party that is of your tribe, that they're in a party that relates to that is trending. They're in a party that is making sense, into quotes, that because they're able to do rallies. We will not vote the right person because we feel like this person actually has something to offer us. And that is the problem. And the sad reality is our leaders can see that. They can see through it, and even I'm sure when they're planning, they'll be the first ones to say like, well, let's just do whatever we want. To Kienda ground, we will give them 500 shillings and they'll vote for us. So the moment we allow our leaders to have such or we give them that platform is when they take advantage of us.
But what's the party that is making sense right now?
At this particular point, it's open. The field is open to everyone. We have, of course, the UDA, we have the ODM, we have the Red Opposition, but it's open for everyone to make their cases. But it's also very important for us to look at what is making sense. You cannot come and tell me for this particular case that your agenda is purely to remove someone from office, and that is just your agenda. Give me a specific agenda and let me work with that particular agenda. And I think you can't tell me that if I trust you with my vote and give you my country to run, that you just don't worry about anything else. Let me just remove the person in office. The rest we will figure out. As much as you want to remove the person in office, give me an alternative solution to what you're supposed to.
All right, so we know the party that you're talking about. Yeah. I believe you know the party that you're talking about, but I asked you a question on what is the party that makes sense right now. Good morning, sir. Please introduce yourself. I know that you want to, of course, in a position in the leadership, and of course, you'll be able to also employ some of the initiatives that will make a better tomorrow for the country. But first things first, I asked Kiongozi there, what is the party that makes sense right now?
Thank you very much, Moses. That's a very important question. Maybe to introduce myself, my name is Simon Boro, a resident of Kiambu County, and I will be running for the senatorial position of Kiambu County come 2027. In 2022, I ran for MP Kikuyu, but now decided to go for a higher seat. Which is the party that makes sense? I think first it's important to recognize that the current ruling political party does not make sense. That's one, all right? It doesn't make sense at all. And that's why I would be more leaning towards the united opposition because we are against William Samoei Ruto and his band of thieves. That's the best I can put it. I'm not happy about the state of our economy. I'm not happy about the increase in debt levels in this country, how much foreign input we have in our domestic affairs, from just our finance bill, which is heavily influenced by the IMF. And that's because of the doing of our president. So I respect my friend's view that, you know, the most important thing cannot just be getting rid of the person seated on the presidential seat, but the character of the president also speaks a lot. All right, when you have a president who shows no remorse when young innocent civilians are being gunned down in the streets of Nairobi, when you have such a character in power, we cannot trust him with another 5 years. We just can't. So it's not about the person, it's about the character. We're looking at the character of William Samoei Ruto, and we're saying, you are not fit to be president. And that's why I would take a position and say, I'm much more allied towards the united opposition.
You think he'll not be able to come in 2027?
I don't think so. I don't think so. With the current political landscape, I don't think he has the numbers.
All right. Some of the activities in the united opposition, one-term campaign, and the grassroots tours, as well as the by-election coordination. And let's speak about the one-term campaign. And of course, so much has happened across the campaigns and many others. Of course, we've witnessed that if you try and speak, some of the leaders mentioned, if you try and speak one term, there might be a problem. How do you come to that? How do you handle that?
We should allow democracy to be the foundation of every single thing that we discuss. All right. We are in a political environment. It should be a competition of ideas, not a competition of strength. The only thing that the current ruling government is doing, it's showing strength. And that is why we're seeing whenever somebody speaks out and say, I don't support the government, and you go for a rally, lo and behold, that tear gas canisters explode, all right? And that has to do with the government using the security forces to stem down on the opposition, and that's not fair. Bring your ideas, all right, and we will bring our ideas, and then we will compare who can best serve the country. Because we have entrusted him with 5 years, and he hasn't performed, all right? So let's not have a toxic political environment, all right?
You already have?
Yeah, it's already there. It's already there. We're seeing our security forces being misused by the government. One of the things that I heavily oppose was how we adjusted our security laws to give the president power of choosing who becomes the Inspector General of Police. The president has absolute say on firing and hiring of the Inspector General of Police. Something that the Constitution, when we drafted the Constitution, we wanted a civilian-led police force so that nobody can influence the decision of the Inspector General of Police. Now we're seeing security forces being used against the united opposition. We saw police force being deployed when Gachagua was attending a church function. And I'm not happy with the trajectory. In finance, we say the trend is your friend. And right now, the trend that we are on is not a good trend. It shows that come 2027, there's going to be violence, pockets of violence across the country. Of course, I don't pray for that, and I don't hope for that. But we need to change the tide. We need to change the trend now.
All right. You speak about, the president is not in a position, of course, to the South Field and to drive the nation in the better tomorrow. And of course, you've spoken about character, which you feel that his character is not for the position of a president as well. And so who do you still think with the same as well? Because if we mention about the president, we'll not also forget who will now take the center stage when it comes to the elections, the presidential elections 2027. Do you think Kalonzo Musyoka, Rigathi Gachagua, and many others, Eugene Wamalwa, do you think who is the better person to that space then?
Well, I disagree to some extent with my colleague. I feel it's still, as much as the elections is 2027, when I look at the options given to me, I've not yet seen an alternative to William Samoei Ruto. We can
still
talk,
the best choice?
Yes, he's still, according, in my opinion, because when I look at the candidates that the united opposition are giving me to consider, I am not able to say that these will, because let's face reality, and especially as a young person, these people have been there, all right? I'd rather trust someone who I've seen do, even if it's 1%, rather than trust someone who's coming to redo the 1% to undo the 1%, and then claim, and then doesn't give us a clear vision on where they're going to take the country. We have seen his Matiang'i with power. We have seen how he was able to behave when he has power. I can't trust him with power such as presidency. I think even when we reconcile ourselves as a generation and decide that we want to bring in a president in 2027, I will even look at Dindi Mo, who has not declared. I will even look at Sifuna Mo, Babu in that particular. That we say, let us try something new, something fresh. But with the same old guard that is still fronting itself out there and saying they are going to do better than His Excellency Dr. William Samoei Ruto, I don't think there is anything there that is going to
So in other terms, any member of the united opposition cannot lead.
Definitely, because the united opposition, they united because of one thing. Apart from His Excellency, the former Vice President, that is Kalonzo Musyoka, the rest united on anger towards William Ruto. Even if we want to say that this is where we are looking for presidency, then that is not the case, because you can't be, it's like, let's say me and my colleague in an argument. So we go and form, he goes and collects everyone who I have wronged in this particular world, and then decide we are going to make sure that Mugwe Kevin does not become MP Dagoretti South. Out of no reason, out of no agenda-based solution. When William Samoei, he has come with his plan of affordable housing. What do they say in alternative, the alternative that they are giving us? They should have come with another alternative, like for instance, express themselves and say, we'll take this money for affordable housing, give it to the private sector, so that the private sector can develop affordable housing. What is the solution they are giving us? They are giving us the solution of we will scrap it off. What will happen to the people who have already bought these particular houses? So we have to be to consider all these particular options, and the united opposition is not an option for me.
So anger can lead.
We're not angry. We're not angry. Absolutely, we're not angry. We object based on facts and based on experience. For example, he has mentioned affordable housing. Truthfully, let's be honest as Kenyans, the affordable housing program is a money-minting operation for William Samoei Ruto and his friends. And we have seen the kind of characters that have been given the tenders for this construction. And it's so simple. Before the 2022 general election, he was gallivanting across the country, dishing out money to churches, 1 million Kenya shillings to each and every church that he went to. So when he came to power, he needed a way to recoup the money. The perfect way to recoup the money was through affordable housing. And we have to ask ourselves one key question. Who's the first beneficiary of the affordable housing program? It's the contractor. And who are the contractors? William Samoei Ruto and his friends. So when we as a united opposition say we're going to scrap out affordable housing, yes, we are going to scrap it out, because it is unfair and unjust for one character to be to overtax Kenyans, all right, use public resources, use public land for his own selfish gain, all right? So we have a plan, and the first of all, the plan is to safeguard the resources that this country has. Just recently, we have seen the Kenya Kwanza government, the UDA government, dish out passports, Kenyan passports, all right, to militiamen in South Sudan and some questionable characters from Zambia, all right? Our national security is at risk, all right, because this is a personal document. It's an important document. If you need to travel to any country, you need a passport. Why is it that we are allowing military officers from Sudan to get Kenyan passports? All right? Just the other day, he opened up the border of Kenya and Somalia. If we are dishing out passports, who's to say that the Kenya Kwanza government is not dishing out IDs to foreign elements, especially from Somalia, all right? So we have to discuss facts. Our national security now is at risk because the Kenyan government is dropping the ball just because it wants to be popular with a certain group in this country. We saw to the very extreme of Kenyan military equipment, all right, in Sudan, all right, being used by militiamen in Sudan under the leadership of who? William Samoei Ruto. There is absolutely no way you can tell me that that is not a fact. It was in a documentary. It was seen, all right? Right now, the cabinet secretary in charge of Interior does not want to talk about how did these characters get hold of Kenyan passports, yet they are not Kenyan citizens. all right? Nobody wants to talk about it. And we, as a united opposition, have to push back. We need these questions answered. How is it that we have foreign military officers with Kenyan passports? Yeah.
And speaking about healthy matters, is mentioned quite a very productive, statements about what the government is doing, which is not to the clear understanding, the clear picture of what the mwenyeji needs. Of course, even as we speak about that, in 2024, the anti-finance bill protest came in, of course, by the heads authority, President William Ruto. How will you respond to that when you're speaking about the healthy position and healthy situations right in the country? Do you think he's not with the aim of healthy political engagement to favor the Mwananchi?
It actually is. And I'll shock you. My colleague has said something very important, that the Red Opposition has a plan. I think he has a plan, not the Red Opposition. If you see the way he's clearly articulating the alternative,
so he has a plan.
Simon Mburu has a plan, not the Red Opposition. The Red Opposition need to give us their plan. And I'll debate, I will always say this, I'll debate openly and I will speak out where the government is wrong. I'll say the government is wrong. Where the government is doing its job, the government is doing its job. In 2024, the government was wrong on the finance bill. I went on the streets myself as well with my fellow young people because we believed that we're not getting heard. And even as a leader who's a youth leader in the region, I remember I was telling my colleagues that I hope now that our voices can be heard because of this particular movement that we have been able to launch. And it is debatable whether the president heard us or not, but we can see that at least there is some direction that went. When it comes to the administration listening to the people, I don't think it's an easy job. Maybe we underestimate what a president is. And we think a president is the one who's supposed to be shouting one time. I had someone say in one of the interviews, a prominent leader, that when they say one time when they shout in political rallies, that is the solution they actually have. But the truth of the matter is this particular issue, that being a president, you have to think about the people. I must say, maybe when it comes to William Samoei Ruto on whether he has thought about wenyeji or not, it is up to wenyeji 2027. What happens when it comes to having healthy politics, especially for our nation, is let us have space where people can be able to, let His Excellency explain what he has done for the people. If he feels affordable housing is for the people, let him explain. Let opposition come and explain whether you feel affordable housing is not for the people, not is the other alternative. Nyota, all these particular government programs that are being run, because if you are given a certain position, especially in the position of president, your number one priority should be to think about the people. Of course, there are moves that the government are doing that are very wrong. Giving out passports to foreigners who are involved in war crimes, that is very wrong. It actually even destroys our reputation out there. It reputates not the reputation of Kenya, but the reputation of actually the East African.
So you agree there is no right thing?
There's no right thing. What happens is we need to understand what are the interests, what are we be able to do. At the end of the day, His Excellency will come. The current administration will be able to come and explain, this is my scorecard, this is what I've been able to do to the people of Kenya. The same way the opposition should be able, I hate this idea that we have ever had. We have always had this idea as a nation that if I am opposition, my work is just to say no. Even if the government says, I'm going to give free milk, I'll wake up and say, why are you giving free milk? No. A united opposition should be the alternative government. What do you have? And that is the healthy politics that we are talking about in today's talk show. What is the alternative? What alternatives do you have? And you should be in a position that you can even accommodate the other opinions. But Kenya, we have grown a political temperature that we have the government, doesn't matter who's in government, and the opposition. Whatever the government does is wrong. Whatever the opposition does is right. I keep telling people, being in opposition is the easiest thing right now in Kenya. Because you just have to check what the government is doing, look for a loophole and say that is wrong.
So do you think the government is doing the right thing as we speak?
Of course, there are some hits and misses. And it's up to Kenyans to decide.
So there are many misses, right?
Of course, there's some hits and some misses.
But the misses seems to be more. Misses seems to be more, right, Mburu?
So according to opposition, more misses. According to people who supported the government, more hits. But the idea is, when it comes to establishing a healthy...
All right, I'll get to you.
Let's be accommodative.
Let's be accommodative. And of course, we've accommodated the many misses and many people and many Kenyans feel that the government is not productive. Even as we near 2027, still people are complaining that economic situation is still tough, and there is still youth unemployment. And I think just the same way as Muge says, there's still a problem. And just as I did mentioned, that the misses seems to be more, because there's still so many complaints right in the Republic. So how can we bring about healthy environments? And of course, because you're in the united opposition, and Mugas mentioned clearly that everything that the government does is a no for your team. I type here what is united opposition, and says in Kenya, the united opposition, also known as the United Alternative Government, is a political coalition formed to challenge President William Ruto in the 2027 general elections. How can we shape a healthy environment?
Okay, let's first, there are a few things that we need to lay on the ground.
All right, late.
Majority of Kenyans feel that the government hasn't performed because of the state of our economy. When the president came in, we were 9 trillion Kenya shillings in debt. Right now, we are 13 trillion Kenya shillings in debt. He doesn't seem to want to slow down on borrowing. He's the first president in the history of this country who has over-relied on the IMF. So that, to the point where Kenya is not financially independent anymore. Every single year, we have to go bow down before the IMF. Tafadhali, give us a loan. All right? Now, they were just from cabinet, and they have now produced a budget. All right? Budget statement by the cabinet. They want to borrow 1 trillion Kenya shillings. The budget deficit is 1 trillion Kenya shillings. We have never been here before as a country where we have a budget gap of 1 trillion. All right? And it's because he just wants to do everything in 5 years. And you can't do everything in 5 years. And now, the key questions that we actually now have, we're selling off our national strategic assets. We're selling off Safaricom. We've sold Kenya Pipeline to Museveni. All right? Now, the next in line will either be Kenya Power or KenGen. So future generations of this country will not benefit from these strategic assets because they will find them, they're already gone. Now, will we raise our kids in a country that is riddled in debt without any strategic asset? We cannot accept that. And that is why we as a united opposition are like, no, this is not the path to take. We need to slow down on borrowing, all right? And to slow down on borrowing, it means we need to prioritize. We cannot tarmac every single kilometer of road in 5 years. We cannot expand SGR to the tune that they want to expand in 5 years, all right? We cannot construct a new international airport in 5 years. We can't do everything in one go. We need to prioritize. We need to ask ourselves, what's the one thing that will create the most benefit for Kenyans? For example, we're talking about youth employment. We have massive rates of youth unemployment in Kenya. My idea for the united opposition would be this. How about we go take the National Youth Service, turn it into an engineering, procurement, and construction company, so that instead of awarding these tenders for road construction, bridges, schools to Chinese, we award them to our kids, all right? We award them to our young people, so that every single county will have a NYS college that will be channeling its resources towards nation building. So that means every single plumber, every single civil engineer will get a job, all right? So we now start doing things ourselves. We are over 50 years old as a country. It's high time that we start taking responsibility for our country. We can construct that SGR ourselves. We can construct all these roads and expressways ourselves if we just give ourselves time.
Why do you think that is not happening?
Because the government keeps on creating excuses for not empowering the young people. All right? We keep on saying our young people do not have capacity. For example,
do they have capacity?
They do have capacity. For example, if we take the SHIF system, why on earth did we give it to a foreign nation? Yet we have young, brilliant minds in Kenya who can code, all right? Kenyans are doing wonderful things in IT. Why is it that we're giving some of these things to foreign powers? Ruto is the one president who has awarded the printing of money, all right, to a foreign country. Yet we have De La Rue here in Kenya, which is partly owned by the Kenyan government. We are so comfortable pumping resources out of the country. How is it that if you go, Galana Kularu irrigation scheme is being run by a foreign company, all right? If you come to Nairobi, they want to award garbage collection, for heaven's sake, garbage collection to a Ghanaian company. So why is it that we are creating this environment where we're telling our young people, oh wait, you chill out, you don't have capacity to do these jobs. We will go outside the country and we'll bring people who can. A transmission line, all right, is being awarded to a foreign country, to an Indian company. How is that fair? Yet we have electrical engineers in this country. So we're taking our kids through university, but we're not giving them opportunities for them to participate in nation building. And one of the ideas we have for as the United Opposition is to empower young people by giving them first priority in nation building and not foreign nations.
All right. When he was getting into office, I believe we had the sentiments made very clear that the young people must be empowered. So the question will be, how will we prioritize, or rather, how will politicians prioritize the Monanchi's desire and their needs over their self-interest?
I will definitely agree with my colleague on issues of youth employment.
And this you must.
Yes, that definitely I will, because it has been an issue, and they are very. That's why I mentioned earlier. They should make him the presidential candidate. Since he has a lot of better ideas.
More than
if he comes to a rally and tells me all those good ideas about NYS, they're actually making sense. That is a discussion we should be having. But on a serious note, when it comes to youth employment, we have to be intentional. We have to be intentional in regards to what we want to do with our young people. Well, we appreciate the efforts done by programs like Kenyatta. We need to be practical. We need to consider, what about our young people who have cleared school? How about the clusters that were done? When it comes to access, can I shock you that our financial inclusion funds, some of the money actually goes back because our young people are not able actually to fully capitalize on this particular inclusion funds. And we have developed others. We even come to the Hustler Fund, and all of these particular inclusion funds. So as much as we come up, we need to stop putting bandages and come up with a practical youth empowerment solution that will actually cover our young people and be and create a source of employment for the youth of this particular country. You cannot tell me that 75% of our young people, okay, who are unemployed, you know, when 75% of an issue in your house is a problem, then there's a big failure. Actually, we need to start looking at this 75 as a solution, and actually figure out, when we with the numbers of young people we have, the 75%, well, how can we give them more spaces? And not more spaces just in leadership, talking about more spaces to be able to economically empower themselves. Sometimes our politicians, especially the kind of political class we have right now, believes that if I come and give young people 2,000, then I've been able to empower them, and that I've considered them. I'm one of the people who never understood even the concept of Kazi kwa Mtaani, and then believed that we have actually empowered young people. That is the bandages I was talking about earlier. We need to come up with practical solutions, as the one my colleague was talking about, NYS. How can we give, imagine how many parastatals we have. If we were to give these contracts to NYS, then increase recruitment of Kenyan with skills. We will be giving them employment opportunities. Imagine giving the engineering capabilities we have, the amount of young people we have in technical institutes who can, even when it comes to negotiation. Our president travels a lot. When he goes to China, or when he goes to Japan, he can be able to negotiate with Toyota, he can be able to negotiate with Mitsubishi. We can have some of the basic parts that are not generally the basic parts being done in Kenya and actually assembled in Kenya. So there's a lot of opportunity. No one should tell our people that there's no opportunity, that the government is doing all it can. That one I will completely disagree with. We have still not tapped into the full potential of youth empowerment, and we need to up our game. And the most definition of upping our game is actually to be intentional about what we want to do with youth empowerment.
All right. About to take our first break, but before that, you can still comment on, are you transparent when you get to office of the Member of Parliament Aggreti? Will you be transparent?
I said one of my manifesto points. I have 7 main agenda points for its accountability and transparency.
Amazing.
And one of the ways I've accounted for that is one, to develop ward implementation committees through the office of
Hold
the
it there.
MP.
I think in the next session, of course, you'll be able to help us understand how that will be helpful to the Mwananchi and your people, and as well as we'll like to listen to Mburu as well. Just in 1 minute, are you transparent and accountable in your leadership coming 2027?
Yes, I am transparent and accountable. One of the things that I really want to push for is we have to be reasonable about how we spend our resources, and we have to engage every single party. I usually say this, that I do not have a monopoly of ideas, all right? For example, that idea about making NYS an engineering and procurement and construction company. If I received positive input from somebody else, I will incorporate it. I want to be available to each and every citizen in Kiambu, all right? If we work together, we can make this country great. We can make our Kiambu County great.
All right.
It's the 3rd largest income generator for this country. Kiambu is an important pillar to this country, and it needs to be protected.
All right.
Yeah.
You'll talk to us about Wamatangi as well.
Oh yeah.
All right, thank you so much, Mugu, and thank you so much, Mburu, for the first session. Of course, when we get back to the second session, now we'll have clear alignment of what you guys want to do for your people, and of course, how will you partner with the government to make sure that we unleash the healthy engagements for the betterment of the people. Ladies and gentlemen, the conversation is still on. Electoral integrity also will be able to understand how can the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission ensure a credible and fair electoral process. Even as you near the general elections, mnatumai kwamba mtapata hizi kura. How will that happen with the electoral integrity, public participation, and policy governance, leadership, and ethics in our next session? It is a couple of minutes. Of course, we're taking a very short break. When we get back, we'll have a clear understanding, a clear picture of who is Muwe, and of course who is Mburu, the aspirants, and as well making a transformation coming 2027. Don't go too far. You're watching The Morning Drift. Thank you so much. The headquarters are set. Ladies and gentlemen, the Morning Drift is here, and of course, hashtag the Social and Health Hour conversation as we plead for healthy political engagement. The same kind of conversation that began early enough. We still on the same track to really understand how we can get the clear picture on the healthy environments right here in the Republic. Earlier on, I'd mentioned that many political leaders are trying as much as possible to clear their names and, of course, make sure that their best intended candidates for the 2027 general elections, and of course, to govern the country, to govern the people in the best way, taste, and kind. Even as we continue the conversation, there is still a need of accountability and transparency, and how will the candidates, Justice Mugwe and Samburu here, will ensure they are accountable to their constituents. What's the plan of transparent campaign financing? And later on, of course, we'll be able to also understand the electoral integrity. What if the road turns, a different side, and tupate watu ambao wana lose kwenye hizi elections? What will be their call to action? What will be their statements? And of course, remember, back in the days, of course, when the All Democratic Movement leader, that is the late former Prime Minister alipoteza nafasi yake uongozi, there was a problem as well. So many other leaders also want electoral integrity. IBC usitukose tena. So that is the talk of the same situation, and many other leaders want manzeku kutuna transparency and alignment when it comes to the general elections. Every other leader will get these spaces, but only if the electoral body will do justice to their calls as well. Leadership and ethics, what qualities shall Kenyans look for in their leaders? I do not know what qualities you have, but your people know. And how can politicians promote, just as you, ethical leadership and accountability? Joining the conversation, how can we promote healthy political engagements right here in the Republic? Our social media handles, Lookup Television on YouTube and Facebook, www.lookup.tv.co.ke. Our WhatsApp number inafanya kazi 0745762640. Ipo hapo chini kwenye runinga. You can make your comments in the best way possible. Joining the conversation in our second session. Mugwe, you'd mentioned earlier on about, the government has done quite tremendous, and the misses that you'd mentioned earlier and the mistakes that you mentioned. Of course, you can't deny the fact that still now we're still complaining about the misses that the government is still on. But away from that right now, we're speaking about Sir Mugwe becoming, an aspirant of the Member of Parliament coming 2027 in Dagoretti South, right? There's a leader there. There's a leader who has been there. And of course, he's also doing his will just for the people. What are you going to correct, apart from what has been done so far, that you feel when you get into that space and you get into that office, you'll make a positive change towards that?
Thank you so much for that particular question. My interest is not necessarily on leadership, but to provide service for the people of Dagoretti South. I have been in Dagoretti South for a very long time. I do a lot of volunteer work in Dagoretti South. And I have seen not just the current, even the previous leadership, what they've been able to do for the people of Dagoretti South. Dagoretti South has a lot of potential, and we have great leaders. I felt the need to actually do better, and for people not to actually settle for less or for what just can be done. And this is capable by, you see what already has been done, being able to improve it, make it better, and ensure that people receive the service they actually deserve. When it comes to Dagoretti South, I'm very passionate, and I tend to keep politics away, because I want us as Dagoretti South to discuss about our issues. I want us to discuss how better we can be able to do, how much better we can be able to do when it comes to our education, when it comes to our roads, when it comes to young people, when it comes to our women, when it comes to creating opportunities within the space themselves.
Mugwe, I believe the room in Dagoretti South has always been the move, political move. How will you be able to run from that and make it more societal, more service oriented?
Number one is, while respecting the leaders that are currently also interested in running for Dagoretti South, it is also important to note that we need, number one, to have a vision that is oriented towards service delivery. The problem we have as leaders is we design our leadership strategies and our policies and manifestos based on political interests. But the moment we remove the political interest and we decide that we are going to actually bring service oriented, I released what I would do, 7-point agenda points for Dagoretti South, with and clearly stipulating what I would actually be able to do for the people of Dagoretti South if I'm elected. And even being able to articulate how you will actually be able to achieve that, so that by the time the voter is going to vote in 2027, they have a clear understanding what they are going to vote for. When they talk about the implementation committees, we don't have to have, if you ask people of the Dagoretti South when the last time they engaged with the administration, they don't know. But at the same time, what is the role of an MP? As much as we converted and introduced NGCDF, so how do we make sure that you serve the people? And I'm running on a principle called people representation, that we take power from these offices and we bring them back to the people. Well, devolution is done at the county levels. Even at the constituency level, it is impossible for you to make sure that each particular ward, each of the 5 wards in Dagoretti South, that they are able to receive disbursements from the NGCDF, and they are able to manage themselves. Your role there as an MP is to be in parliament and to be as a patron. So it's to go and look for that particular money, ensure it's deposited, bring it to the wards, let the people at the ward, that person at the ward, the ward committee, they're the ones who knows which particular roads need to be fixed. You can't tell me that you're the one who understands that. When it comes to creating employment for the young people, I've always been a firm believer that as much as you want to give out tenders as a member of parliament, you don't necessarily have to give your friends. So you can be able to group young people and women groups in Dagoretti South, create them into CBOs and let them run these particular tenders. As much as I want, by the time I'm done with Dagoretti South, that's why I believe in visionary leadership, that we can be able to actually be not just a model constituency, but a constituency that proves that ideas are not just based on paper or based on shouting someone off because everyone has done their part. The current MP, there's something he believes he has done. What I just need to take is to come with the people of Dagoretti South, offer them service and ensure that if it's education, we have done so far buildings for new schools. How can we make it free? How can we make sure that it's accessible? We have seen it done in other constituencies. Why not us? We have 16 16 schools. Total, they're coming up to around roughly 22, 25 schools. Why is it impossible for us to offer this particular free education? When it comes to building, we have so the side of Motuene, some land that we can actually be able to set aside as a constituency and develop a cabro with the local youth groups and women groups, develop cabros. Let these cabros be able to be put by the same people who are in Dagoretti South, who live in Dagoretti South, who voted for you, and those are that's the opportunities that I'm talking about. When I'm talking about, so you can imagine the whole particular structure of this, because I believe, number one, that 120 million per constituency a year is a lot of money, and they can be able to do so much. I've had MPs, when Ndindi Nyoro said that what he does with his money, I had MPs, all of them come each and say how it's impossible to do it. But when you sit down and do the matrix for a period of 5 years, if each and every one of us would actually do our jobs, if each and every MP would actually maximize even the little that you do, borrow. If it's the leadership that is within your vicinity, stop thinking that you have a monopoly of ideas. Consider even the rest and actually actualize this particularly. The other final bit is, as the movement that I'm running with Agenda 77, we believe that MP salary is supposed to be. MPs are earning so much than what they're supposed to actually be earning in a country that is really struggling.
How much
one of the things I have submitted myself is that part of that particular salary should be able to go to improving the people of Dagoretti South constituency. How
much is it?
An MP roughly runs $1 million. An MP has there's the 700 shillings which they earn as the basic salary, but in top of allowances it comes up to $1 million. Imagine that is what we are earning in a country that is struggling as a member of parliament. So I believe, because I believe that some of these particular moves that we make as leaders, as intentional moves to just make change to our people, to just give our people a better life, and to see that we don't have our people don't have to struggle to beg for services. It is their right. It is envisioned in the Constitution, and we just have to do better by them. And that is some of those particular ways that we tend to do.
Quite a number of things that you want to help the Dagoretti South make an impact. I believe there are many aspirants that are also in the space as well. You also feel like you'll beat them up?
Yeah, and I invite them. Once I beat them up, I will be very comfortable to invite them to. I believe everyone has an idea. I'd want to see everyone's ideas. We bring them together and we make sure that Dagoretti South, with me as their member of parliament, we make it into a model constituency, not just in Kenya but in Africa. Yeah.
Shall I bring one for you for a sit-down?
Definitely.
I know, Sasi. The Senate is waiting in Kiambu County. What are some of the things that are underway?
So one of the things that I'm happy about is the current leadership of Kiambu County has been very consistent in actually doing things for the betterment of the residents of Kiambu. For the first time, I think I can confidently say that, for the first time since the inception of county governments, we have a good governor in Kiambu. Amazing. The only problem that we have seen in the last couple of years is political interference from the national government. And as a senator, I need to protect my county from interference from the national government. We have seen a lot of attacks on the current governor. He's the one governor who was able to double Kiambu's revenue. Where was this money when Nyoro was governor? Where was this money when Waititu was governor? All right? He did not wake up one day and 2.5 billion Kenya shillings, found its way into their accounts. All right? This money was being misappropriated by former governors. And now we have a governor who's straight up. All right? He's protecting the one resource that Kiambu has. We are a top GDP contributor after Kiambu, after Nairobi, that is. So one thing that I have to do as a senator is protect my county from political interference by forces within the national government. Number two, I have to recognize that one of the struggles that we have, not just in Kiambu, but also across the whole county structures, all the 47 counties, is the recurrent expenditure. And I'll just take one element of the recurrent expenditure, health, all right? In the draft of the Constitution, the Bomas draft of the Constitution, we had what was called the National Health Commission. all right? The National Health Commission was supposed to take care of the interest of our medics. One of the things that I really want to do as a senator of Kiambu is go to Parliament and actually bring this on the table so that all our medics are taken care of by one commission. The teachers have a teacher service commission. The judges have a judicial service commission. The police have a police service commission. As parliamentarians, we have the parliamentary service commission. It's only fair if we have a national commission for our medics and for our doctors and for our nurses, so that the human resource element is not covered by counties. The human resource element will be covered by the national government. This will give room for Kiambu to now to channel a lot of its funds towards development, because we've freed up a little bit of money from recurrent expenditure. Now we can spend it on roads. The county government is free to spend it on development expenditure. So that is the one thing that I also really want to push forward. Number two is recognizing that the one thing that the people of Kiambu are good at is business, all right? We have to improve the economy of this country. We cannot be registering deficits of over 5% of Kenya's GDP. For this country to grow in a stable and sustainable way, we need to have a conversation on the national level and say, okay, our budget deficit cannot cross 2% of this country's GDP. Because when it crosses 2%, what it means is the business owners in Kiambu will be overtaxed by the national government, and everybody will be crying, all right? We have so many farmers in Kiambu who rely on animal feed inputs that are being overtaxed by the national government. It's one of the things that I'm really passionate about. We need to start reducing on the taxes so that the residents of Kiambu can start, engaging in productive commerce, right? And this is not just for the overall benefit of the people of Kiambu, it's for the overall benefit of every single citizen of this country. Because when Kiambu is doing good, some of the taxes that come from Kiambu go towards benefiting other counties, all right? Yeah. So I have to recognize that. So one of the things that I'm really passionate about is improving the Kenyan economy as a lawmaker and also as a playing my role in the Senate as an oversight. I have to look after the interest of the county government, and also have to look after the interest of the national government and how it's well positioned to serve the Kenyan people.
The one at that position, are they not working?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, I would have settled for Member of Parliament, but I don't think the current Senator Irogo Wathangwa is actually doing a good job. The one bill that he has sponsored in Senate is about extension of public holidays. I mean, no. I understand Kenyans, tunapenda sherehe, and a Good Friday all the way till Sunday, you're sherehe, but Monday we cannot extend public holidays. If we extend public holidays, it takes a hit into our financial system, all right? Let a public holiday just be a public holiday. You go chill out with your buddies, but we don't need to extend them. If a public holiday falls on Monday, let it stick to Monday, but Monday wants to extend it all the way till Thursday. I'm like, no, it's not fair. All right. Yeah, so I have to, I'm looking at him as a senator and some of the ideas that he has, and I can confidently say that I can bring good ideas onto the table, given an opportunity to serve as a senator of Kiambu. As a young person, I also take a position of knowing that we need to start ushering new blood, new ideas, and a new generation into power. There's been a lot of gatekeeping into this country, all right? And as young people, we're saying, no, we're sick and tired of it. It's high time we start having good, new ideas to the table that will push Kenya forward. All right, we cannot be auctioning young minds to other countries in the name of they will bring in money in US dollars. We need young people to be employed here in this country, in our counties. We need to be able to be productive members of our society. Yes.
All right. Kiambu people are watching as well. Do you think they trust you?
I think they do. I think they do. One of the things that I'm happy about is my political experience. I ran for MP Kikuyu in 2022. I had a fully fledged manifesto and everything was posted online. You can go see some of the ideas that we had. I'm not here for my own self-benefit. I'm passionate about our country. When we were fighting Ruto's government, we were in the streets of Nairobi protesting against the finance bill, all right? When leaders, like the current senator was mum about the finance bill. He never spoke out against the injustice that was being done in the streets of Nairobi, all right? We saw property in Kikuyu being burnt down, all right, by demonstrators. It didn't have to get to that point. The only thing that the government needed to do is listen. We want the government to listen to what the people have to say. I'm not happy about Kenya's debt levels. I'm not happy about the corruption and the selfish interest that has taken root in our country. It seems like there's a generation of leaders that we have in this country that are just after their own selfish gain. All right? How is it that members of parliament and senators are the only people in this country who are able to quadruple their wealth in 5 years? Even a private business owner is not able to double his wealth in 10 years, all right? Because of the multiple taxes that we have placed upon them. But it seems like lawmakers have created a gateway for them to benefit at the expense of the taxpayers. And I'm not happy about that. And it's one of the things that I want to set right when I get to parliament. Yeah.
All right. We say every other leader tries as much as possible to make their manifestos, their agendas known to the public for them to gain the trust with its people. It comes at a point when you're nearing the elections and the elections are here, then one problem happens about the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission. But you feel like, hizo kura si zangu bwana. When the desires of your heart are not met, and maybe in one or the other, God forbid you lose the space, how should a leader package themselves for the better tomorrow? Should they call demos? What should they do?
I think I'm going to be very honest with that particular discussion because personally it's something that I've experienced even when I was a kid. I know we saw the full-hand experience of what happens when people don't accept election results, and it was the saddest part of our nation.
Indeed.
And one thing I'd like to point out to all leaders, doesn't matter whether new, young, or actually existing leaders, is that the main reason why our elections are so expensive, it's because of one thing called trust. We don't trust ourselves enough to run perfect elections that we have put so many excuses or so many protection measures to ensure that our elections are safe and that they're transparent. And still, we will not trust our election. My call, it would be that let us look at ourselves and understand that when it comes to politics, it's about the people. When it comes to leadership, it's about the people. The moment we make it about ourselves as leaders, then we lose every bit of humanity that we actually have. I usually say, if it coins that people die, if it coins that people lose life, for the sake of making a point, for the sake of proving that I'm a capable leader, then I'd rather be there, I'd rather step down. If it comes to it, we have to lose people's lives. We have to have blood. We have to kill our young generation. That power is not worth it. With the moment we understand that as leaders, the moment we understand that the power we've been given by God, or the power that God has given, whether you win an election or you lose an election, is to serve the people of the Republic of Kenya. The other thing I'd like also want to make it clear is that in this particular election and every other election, there has to be a winner, there has to be a loser. And that is why it is important when you see me challenging the red opposition, not because I don't believe that they're leaders, it's because I want us to re-envision our leadership structures, this particular nation, to be people-oriented, in the sense that there will always be one leader, whether it's the red opposition, whether it's the current government. One leader is the one that is going to be, there's only one position to be won. And the other one becomes the opposition or the alternative government. Let's learn to share ideas. The same way I've told you, if, because I know I'll be able to take this particular seat, and if the people of Dagoretti give me this particular seat, I will be the first person to call all the other aspirants. and ask them, okay, what is this idea that you had about Dagoretti? What can we do better? The moment we stop thinking about ourselves and we start thinking about the people, then we will have an election that, one, if the results are that we'll be able to trust each other with the elections. I know I sound very, what do you call it, naive when I say we can trust our elections, but let us trust each other. Let us trust that we have leaders who are selfless. I know we were going to get there, even if it's not now, we will get there as a nation. That we have leaders who will not put their leadership or their politics before the people of the Republic of Kenya. That is also the leaders who are doing the election. That is our electoral body, that is the IEBC, that they will put the interest of Kenya above any other interest.
All right. I think Amboseli ko Dagoretti, you know that, right?
Yeah, Konoth.
But now you walk in the other side of Dagoretti South and then you meet young people that enyewe wanajua wewe ndio kiongozi wao. How do you handle them? How do you treat them out? Unawaambia mkoja mzuri sana cheza kama.
Unajua we have to start when you say campaign financing, we need to re-envision. Mimi usema hivi, if I remove my 500, okay, and Dagoretti South has how many wards? 5 wards, and I have to give money in each other ward. Who has money somewhere stuck in a bank account, or from a business, then atakuja atoe aseme anapatia, anaangalia jeshi. But we believe in that, and that is why tunaibiagwa. My fellow youths, that's why kinaibiagwa. Because the moment I give you my 500, if I get that seat, I don't want to return it back.
So you'll not give us 500?
I'll not give you 500. I love the, let me come and sell my manifesto to you. Okay. If you believe in what I can do, then put me into the parliament. If you don't believe, like if you meet someone, there's those situations you meet someone who actually really actually needs. Utampanga.
Nice one. Indeche needs one. So clearly, of course, the picture comes in Andy, and of course, every other leader. If you step in the spaces, you have to give something to the people so that they can, ni kama kuwafungua masikio, they can be patiently waiting to listen to what you're going to say. Hata ukitumia wana kiongozi, zungumza. We are here. So also that is creating some sort of attachment with your people, and every time they hear Samburu is coming, they have to march in and wakuje waku empower kabisa na waku hapo kabisa. Sindio? In cases where you've gone to a rally, you've made your own rally, then you need people and you need masses, and then kidogo kidogo hivyo ukasikia tu ghasia zimetokea. How do you handle that as a leader? How do you take control at that particular point in time?
When a rally goes,
nakumbuka sasa ulitoa pesa yako fulani man.
So from experience, I can say that giving handouts is expensive both on the candidate and also on the person receiving the handout. I mentioned that William Samoei Ruto has a money printing business in the affordable housing. He's trying to recoup back the money that he spent in the last general election. All right? So people have to understand. I cannot feed all of you. All right? And so the best approach is listen to what I have to say. All right? Tell me, give me feedback about some of the ideas. Pitch me some of the ideas that you have as a ordinary day citizen. Give me positive criticism for what I have to say, for what I'm presenting. All right? And then on election day, decide whether to vote for me or to vote for a different candidate. But when you ask for money, all right, you're putting me in a position where now I have to compromise on my own integrity. All right? Because now I've given, 1,000 of you, 500. I will need to recoup that money. So how do I recoup back that money? All right? I'm going to make things expensive for you. All right? And I don't want to do that.
Indeed.
And so in 2022, I ran a very clean campaign. What we did, we went door to door across Kikuyu constituency, talking to the common mwananchi. And that's what I'm going to do for Kiambu. I want to be as available as possible. One of the problems that we have as leaders is we have created a class system where I don't want to be accessible to people, to my people. I want to drive in a highly tinted car, and the only thing that I can do is step out of the sunroof and wave, and then talk to a few people, get into the car and drive off. But if I am available to people, if the people of Kiambu know that I will be in your kiosk, I will be in your home, I will be in your church, and if you invite me to your home for tea, I will come and we sit down and we discuss business, we discuss politics. They will not need to have every single day they see me that they're gonna ask for a token because I'm available to them. All right, and so that's the kind of leader I want to be. I want to be available to every single constituent of Kiambu County.
Do you think that is the same thing that happened to the president?
Happened to?
To the president?
No, the president was out dishing money, and he's still doing that even under the Nyota program. All right, and this money has to be recouped, and he will recoup it in one way or another, and that is why you cannot entrust him with another term. Another thing that we also need to discuss. And I've had leaders in the political scene create an excuse for the salaries that they earn. All right? Kenya has the second highest paid members of parliament in the world. We need to correct that.
That's madness.
All right? We need to correct that. One of the crazy allowances that members of parliament earn is a car maintenance allowance of 325,000. Which car in this world needs 325,000 to maintain every month? We have to discuss that. These are critical affairs. Every single new member of parliament has access to a car grant of 7 million Kenya shillings. All right? We're using taxpayer money to buy members of parliament cars. It's not fair. In as much as the grant is going to be paid up, all right? And maybe I should finish this. If an ordinary day citizen has to walk into a bank, leverage his salary or leverage an asset to be given a loan at 14%, 13% interest rate, to go buy a car, why shouldn't the member of parliament be put to the same thing? All right? Why are we giving him a car grant of 7 million Kenya shillings? That needs to be scrapped out. It needs to be scrapped out. Let me save my money and buy my car. All right? If I need an expensive car, let me go take a loan from a bank. I should not be a burden to taxpayers. But we become burdens to taxpayers because of this dishing out money in every single church, in every single chama. You can't.
You need a car.
You know, MPs passed a bill to increase the bank rates on car loans. And they passed it comfortably because they know at the end of the day that I'm going to get a car grant, so I'm okay. And that is why some of this madness has to be scrapped out. Because if you can't walk in the shoes of the ordinary mwananchi that you represent, the people that you call, that you adhere to, but then you cannot be, you cannot come and claim that you are a capable leader. My colleague has said very well, Simon Boro, that we have the second highest paid members of parliament. The president has said he wants to take this country to Singapore. I want you to look at the amount of salary MPs in Singapore earn vis-a-vis their GDP, and you'll be shocked that we actually pay our MPs too much. And what is their excuse? Back to the question. It's because nikienda ground, lazima niache kitu. It's because the car grant. It's because I can't buy a normal Toyota. I need a 4WD because I have bad roads, which he's supposed to build. You get my point? So that is the reasoning behind it. Why do you need a car maintenance allowance of 345,000? Again, you see the big car that you bought me for the roads that I cannot maintain. They break my car every single week, so I need to be maintained by 345,000. That is madness of the highest level. And as a country, if we want to be serious about this nation, that is the first thing we need actually to start. And I think we've both agreed, Simon, me in Parliament and Simon in Senate. When we get that is the first thing we want to do. That we want to slash the MPs, members of Parliament salaries. It's too much.
All right, but I believe your cars will be much better.
Mimi nitatumia Mitsubishi.
As an MP, right? Utakuwa tembea hawezi tembea.
So, and again, that's a question that also that's a thought that we need to explore. Why?
Is it Tembea?
Why? Why is it that
Patana na watu.
why is it that we spend like, even think about it, we spent was it 3 billion to construct Bunge Towers? And now Bunge Towers is connected to Parliament through a tunnel. That we do not even want our members of Parliament to walk on the streets of Nairobi.
Of the people they represent.
Of the people they represent. You know, like lazima wapite kwa tunnel ndio waingie kwa ofisi. I mean, like we really have to think about this. The kind of country that we are running, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous that members of Parliament, I think in Kenya, are the only ones who have a VIP section in the airport. All right? If you go to European countries and also to the United States, there is no VIP treatment for an elected official. All right? Because when you're going through JKI, those messed up systems that everybody is going through, you should also go through them so that you have a solution for that particular problem.
Make a better policy.
Yes. You don't create a special class, or because we are members of Parliament, because we are honorable members, we'll be treated as special class citizens. Yeah.
All right. Aza tuache tuone sasa vile nyinyi mtatembea. Kwa viti sana. All right. So we are only left with 3 minutes to wind up this session. And with the snips of what we've discussed, I believe a good listener will pick some of the things on how we can make a better tomorrow with good governance, and of course we have healthy environments right in the Republic. But I think the conversation still is wider than what we've had, and we'll call in, of course, for next session to help us understand more and more how we can build a healthy environment and a healthy nation moving forward. To just conclude this session, we are seeing wrangles in the ODM party. We are seeing wrangles in the political parties right in the Republic, and of course zinaleta noma sana. We just very few seconds, I think, because that was not the conversation meant for this engagement. But we'll give you very few seconds to just tell us what is your feeling about the same. Then how we'll align these things. Then of course you can share with us your social media platforms. Let's start with Sam Mugwe. With very few seconds, we're only left with 2 minutes.
All right, mine is to tell the people of Kenya, let's calm down, okay? Elections is not a do or die situation. If it's not about us, it's about selfish leaders. Let's be selfish. Let's think about ourselves. Let's think about our neighbors. Let's think about the pride of the communities that we live in. That way, we will not allow any politician to take advantage of us. We will not allow any leader to take us as fools. We will not allow any party or any political affiliation to come and make sure that we have seen goons being hired left, right, and center. And I've seen something saying that you are a goon depending on which party that you are in. So let's have civil. It's possible for us to have civilized elections. It's possible for us to have civil politics. Let's be patient to other people's thoughts. Let's engage. Let's have ideas. That is how we build this country forward, and that is how we'll be able to take to become a better Kenya, not just for tomorrow, but for our kids and for future generations. On socials, Mugwe Kevin. On TikTok, everywhere, Mugwe Kevin. On Facebook, Honorable Mugwe Kevin. Follow me. Let's engage. Let's share ideas, and let's see how we can build this better Kenya.
All right.
Yeah. On the political landscape right now, it's now becoming toxic, and we have to be careful as leaders, and also we have to be careful as citizens. It cannot be slogans anymore. I think where our economy is and where our country is, we need to settle our minds, calm down, and discuss. Okay, good. We agree there's a problem. Can we discuss the solution to this problem? All right? And also as leaders, we need to start discussing ideas. It's not just about slogans. It's not just about one-term slogan. It's not about Singapore slogan. Give us credible, tangible path, all right, forward for the Kenyan people. And once we start discussing ideas, all right, we will stop discussing personalities. Right now, we're discussing personalities. We're discussing William Samoei Ruto. We're discussing ODM and Oburu. We're discussing Gachagua. We're discussing Kalonzo Musyoka and Matiang'i. We need to have a discussion about where is Kenya, and where do we want to be.
Indeed.
Yes.
Your socials?
On socials, my name, Simon Boro, on Facebook, on TikTok, on Instagram, and also on Twitter. We can engage more. I'll be posting more ideas about what I want to do in Kiambu County, and I hope to get your vote in 2027.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Samburu, for making time. And of course, we are hoping for the best. We'll keep on engaging, of course, the people of Kiambu, Wakuvotie, and of course, you make a better tomorrow for the people. Thank you so much, Muga, for making time this morning. And as well, of course, the Dagreti South people, let them choose you as their leader as well. I'm hoping for the best as well.
Thank you very much.
Mkipata hizo cheo, najua all right, so we've concluded this session, and to my you've made sense out of it all, and of course the 8 members right here on Look Up Television also expecting Samugwe. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. See you tomorrow, even as we ignite the Entertainment Friday, and of course we'll be able to have Anitwaji Black at Kenya, just to make sure tuone art yake inasonga namna gani, and of course what are some of the things that he does to make sure that he tells stories through join us Friday from 8 a.m. and of course later on Hannah Jacksons will be joining later on to have the same engagement, entertainment. But so far so good. We've made the social health hour done and deal, and Samugu and Samburu have enabled us to understand how we can push for healthy political engagement and move to a healthy nation right here in the Republic. So far so good. Thank you so much, Sarah. Thank you so much, Devi. Thank you so much, Edgar, as well as thank you so much our cameraman Indeche for the good job well done. See you next time. This is Sasmo Times.